In this episode, we look at Unit 11 from our science workbook, the sense organs, eyes and ears. The eyes. Our eyes are the organ of sight. They are the windows through which we can look at our world outside ourselves. The human eye is a tough ball that sits in a bony socket. It is filled with fluids. The eyeballs are held in position by 6 muscles which contract and expand to move the eye in different directions. Major parts of the eye and their functions. The outer layer of the eye is called the sclera or sclerotic. It is a clear, tough tissue that supports the frame of the eye. At the front of the eye is a transparent layer called the cornea, which allows light to enter the eye. Behind the cornea is the middle layer which forms the iris. The iris is a disc of colored muscle. In the center of the iris is a hole called the pupil, which allows light to reach the lens. The iris muscles regulate the amount of light entering the pupil by controlling its size. In bright light, the iris expands and makes the pupil smaller so less light enters the eye. In dim light, the iris contracts and makes the pupil larger so more light enters the eye. Behind the iris is the lens, which bends and focuses light rays on the retina. The retina is the innermost layer of the eye on which a clear image is formed. The retina houses the cells that are sensitive to light. These cells are called rods and cones. Rods enable us to see in dim light and black and white. Cones enable us to see color, but they only work in good light. One small area of the retina, the blind spot, contains no rods or cones to receive light rays. This is where the optic nerve leaves the retina, taking impulses, electrical impulses, or messages to the brain where they are interpreted. So, on page 75 now, if we look to the top right hand corner, we have a cross section of the human eye. So we'll go in an anti-clockwise direction, starting from the iris. So we have the iris, then we have the pupil, we have the cornea, we see the lens, then we have the retina, the optic nerve, the blind spot, the sclera, and the muscle to move the eyeball. Inside we have the jelly to stop the eye from collapsing inward. So one of the functions of the jelly there, the liquid inside the eye, is to help to maintain the shape. So we're going to turn now from page 75 to page 76. How do we see with our eyes? We are able to see when the eyes form a clear image of what is being looked at on the retina. Light is reflected from the object and passes through the cornea and the pupil to the lens. The lens bends light rays and focuses the image upside down on the retina. The cells in the retina react to light, reaching them and convert light to electrical impulses. The optic nerve sends the impulses to the brain for recognition. The brain interprets the image right way up as the things we see. Vision problems. Before we get to the vision problems, let's look immediately to the top right hand corner, and here we have the object here being a man. We see the parts of the eye, the lens there. We have the man as the object. And after the light bounces from the man, it passes through the cornea, goes to the pupil, then it goes to the lens where the light is bent. And the image is what? The image of the object is seen upside down on the retina. So we continue with vision problems now. In order to see objects clearly at different distances, the lens has to be changed in shape so that the light comes to focus on the retina. Two of the most common eye problems are nearsightedness and farsightedness. Please note, a person who is nearsighted can see near objects clearly, but cannot see distant objects well. The eyeballs are too long, causing the image to focus in front of the retina. This can be corrected by wearing glasses with concave lenses. So here we have the diagram explaining that. So light comes in but falls short. Okay, so it does not fall directly on the retina, it falls short, so that is nearsighted. Okay, then the correction, we have the distant object, and with the concave lens between the object and the eye. Next one, a person who is farsighted cannot see near objects clearly, but can see distant objects well. The eyeballs are too short, causing the image to focus behind the retina. So the image forms behind the retina. This can be corrected by wearing eyeglasses with convex lenses. So again, we have the diagram. So the focus in the first diagram, the focus comes behind the retina. Light comes to focus behind the retina. And when you look at the convex lens now being placed, we have the near object, and with the convex lens between the near object and the eye, light now comes to focus on the retina. Remember that in all instances, light must be focused on the retina for objects to be seen clearly. We move from page 76 to page 77. Optical illusions. Most of the information we gather from an image is based on our perception of the image. That is how we interpret the image based on our understanding of it. We judge the distance to an image because we are familiar with its size and know what it should look like at a certain distance. But we can be fooled. An optical illusion misleads us about the relative size or distance of an object by placing it in an unexpected situation. Mirage. When light refracts, it tricks us into seeing things in the wrong place. A mirage is an optical illusion caused by light's refraction in the atmosphere. Light travels more quickly through warmer air near the ground than it does through the cooler air above. The light is refracted in a curved path, producing a false image of a distant object. Mirages are common in deserts where the air is very hot. They may also be seen on a hot road. For example, sometimes when the road is very hot, pools of water seem to appear on it. These are common when nearing the top of a hill. However, the pools disappear as you approach them and then reappear farther away. These, referring to the pools, are just light from the sky totally reflected by the hot air just above the road surface. And again, we have a diagram to explain that. We move now to taking care of our eyes. The eyes need washing with clean cold water, although they may wash themselves very well with their own salty liquid. So you need to wash your eyes, but the eyes produce a salty liquid called tears that help to wash the eyes. So we move now from page 77 to page 78. Soap, shampoos, and cosmetics should be kept from the eyes. Next point. If something gets in the eye, it should be washed out and not rubbed out. In the process of rubbing, you can actually, if it's something that is, really tough or coarse, it can actually scrape the cornea, causing vision problems. Never press the eyeball in any way because pressing can push them out of shape. Be sure you work in good light when using the eyes for close work like reading, sewing, or writing. Do not read in moving vehicles as this causes the eye muscles to work harder. Never place dirty hands in the eyes as they may become infected. Never wear another person's glasses as this may put unnecessary strain on your eyes as they try to focus properly. Here's a unit review. Choose the correct response. Into how many layers is the eye divided? Is it 2, 3, 4, or 5? The colored part of the eye is it the iris, pupil, cornea, or sclera? Number 3, which of the following allows light to enter the eye? Is it the retina, the eyeball, the muscle, or the cornea? Number 4, the part of the eye on which the image falls is the lens, pupil, iris, or is it the retina? Number 5, which parts of the eye are necessary for seeing? Is it A, the pupil, lens, retina, nerve, B, the lens, retina, sclera, eyeball, C, the pupil, iris, lens, and cones, D, the eyelid, rods, eyeball, pupil. Number 6, 2 types of sensory cells are rods and cones, iris and pupil, lens and muscles, cornea and optic nerve. Number 7, rods enable us to see in, is it bright light, good light, white light, or dim light? And you will continue with your unit review and we will discuss the answers in class. In the next episode, we continue with this unit when we look at the air. See you then.